Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to A Backwards Glance. I'm Sid Mickle. It's time for some more Southern stories from right here in Chambers County. And before we get started, let me explain my New York Yankees hat. Some of you might know that I am a diehard Cincinnati Reds fan, having met Johnny Bench here in our hometown on Jim Stewart Day, along with Pete Rose. But this hat is a gift from my late father-in-law, and I enjoy wearing this hat occasionally. Yankees had some great players, and every time I wear it, I actually think of the Reds sweeping the Yankees in the '76 series, so a couple of positives from that. But on to the story. I'm not going to tell you exactly the ending. I want to just kind of build this one up and let you get the true sensation that comes from what happened here. But back when I was younger, I think I was in the 10th grade, the first year at Chambers Academy, we didn't have football. We had baseball and basketball. And I was still working for Jack Mann at Jack Mann Service Station on the north side of town. And one day, Bill White, who was coaching the baseball team, came to me. He may not have been the head coach, but he was certainly an assistant. Maybe he was running the team that day. He came up and he said, "Hey, we're short a player. We really need you to come out." I was at work. So I asked Miss Sarah Mann if I could find someone to take my shift. Could I have the rest of the day off? She was fine with it. Called my buddy Ronnie and he came up and took over and I went off to play. So I get there and boy, the game is ready to start and off we go. And we're playing, I don't remember, maybe Lyman Ward that day. I can't remember exactly who we were playing in baseball. But it was a pretty tight game. And we had, we didn't know any of the umpires who showed up. And of course, there were two home plate guy, big, strong, athletic guy, and another guy who called the bases. So late in the game, I would guess this is probably around the 7th inning, I was fortunate enough to double off the pitcher. I was on second base. And I think we were trailing by a couple of runs, maybe one run, I don't know. But as luck would have it, someone, and in my mind, it was either Richard, Neil, or Randy who came up behind me and hit the ball really hard. Drove a single into the outfield. And Bill White is coaching third base, and I get the let's go. I mean, I've got the windmill. He's going, score, get in there. So I tear around third base, and I go flying into home plate, and I slide in. Big collision with the catcher, but it all is fine. Everybody's up, and I realize the umpire has called me out. Called me out. I was safe. I was safe by a mile, at least in my own mind. So I jump up and I am yelling at the umpire, which, is not a good look. It wasn't something that I should have been doing. But then I realized Bill White is running down the third baseline, screaming at the umpire. He was safe. He was safe. So it became a big argument with this young, big, strapping umpire. And he let us have our way. And of course, Bill, being a good bit, 2 or 3 years maybe older, and he was much more mature. He pushes me out of the way and gets in front of me, and he's talking to the umpire, and he say, "Man, you made the call before the play even happened. You made up your mind to call him out, and he was safe." So he lets us go, and I am doing my part. I am saying, I was safe. You missed it. You missed it. And doing the wrong thing, obviously. The umpire was very patient, actually. He let us go on for a good 30 seconds, maybe. And then he turned to Bill and he goes, "That's it. You're out of here." And he looked at me and he goes, "You're out of here too. Go." So he threw us both out of the game. Now, I think someone else had arrived, so we had enough players. I think we had just enough players to finish the game. So that was, a bad day. I felt bad about it, and we lost, and it was just the way things were. But it really irritated me. And the more that I thought about what Bill said was the umpire decided to call me out before the play. He had just decided I wasn't going to score, in his judgment, and made the call, and I truly felt I was safe. All base runners tagged out at home plate believe they're safe, in a close play. That's just the way it works. Well, now fast forward to the next July. This is July of that same year. This game probably took place in May. So in July, my Uncle Harold comes home one day. I'm at home. He comes in, he's all excited. He goes, boy, get in your car and get out to the school. Your new football coach is there. You need to get out there and talk to him. Well, I was really excited. I mean, we've been waiting on that guy who was going to take over our team, and we could play football now in the junior and senior years we had remaining at Chambers Academy. So yeah, oh, Harold, you're right. And it didn't matter what he had told me to do. I was going to do it, but he wanted me to go now. Jumped in my dark blue Pontiac GTO, a 66 model, 4-speed, 389, white leather interior, that I sold for $400, by the way, just so you know. Anyway, I get in my car and I make my way to the school, and there's a couple of cars there, and I knew Mr. East, who was our headmaster. The name of the headmaster was there. I go in the door and I see Mr. East's face, and he's a guy has his back to me, and I walk in, and Mr. East says, there's one of your players, let me introduce you. And I'm walking up all excited. I'm going to meet the coach, and he's going to see that I'm hungry, man. I want to come out. He turns around, and it's the umpire from the baseball game who threw me out after listening to me act like an idiot for a minute. He turns around, he looks at me, and I am just frozen because I knew it. I remembered him clearly. And he extends his hand, shakes hand. He introduces himself. Mr. East walks away and let us have a few moments together. And that coach's name was Jerry Pugh. And he was, in my mind, the exact right guy for us. I'll just tell you this, he was the exact right guy for me. If you remember the story about my former coach, Coach Nettles, who really was a father figure to me, who really gave me attention that I needed to kind of help me get to find my way when I was in the 7th and 8th grade. Well, Coach Pugh was a different kind of coach. Now, he was a very caring guy. I truly believe that. And that was proven as we reconnected later on. But at that moment, Coach Pugh was not warm and fuzzy. One of the first things he told us as a group was, I'm not real excited and jumping around and yelling and screaming. That's a waste of energy in my mind. I want you on the field. I want you hitting. And when you come on the sidelines, you better be paying attention. The stands are for fans. The field is for players. That was his mentality. He believed in work. He believed in not making mistakes. And he believed that if he ran you until you couldn't run, it was the right way to do it. You remember the story? Maybe I've told the story about him. To get off the field at practice, you had to catch one of his punts in the air. He had been a college punter after being a running back all his career, had a knee injury, but could still kick, just couldn't carry the ball. He kicked the ball 50 yards, 60 yards in the air, and you had to run down, turn, and catch it. Now, he'd give you a good head start. But there have been several days that me and 2 or 3 other guys have been on the field. We'd missed 10, and he finally just said, get off my football field. That was Coach Pugh. And he wasn't that much older than us. He was just the coach. He was the authority. And he worked his butt off with us. He was a one-man show, except for a part-time guy, Coach Lee, who would come in. And then Coach Hugh Phillips, who came in and was an assistant and a teacher at the school the next year. So back to today's scenario. Coach Pugh is there, and we are talking, and I realize, in my mind, I realize, he doesn't remember me. I'm going to be all right. He just doesn't recognize me from the baseball game. So we talk 15 minutes. My confidence level, my enthusiasm is there. I am so excited for him to be our coach and teach me and us get back to playing football. That's what I want to do, play football. So Coach pulls out this stack of papers, and it's a carbon copies of plays, and it's probably 10 or 12 plays, and he hands it to me, and he says, okay, I want you to come in here the first week of practice in August and understand these plays, every bit of them. I don't want to be telling you what these plays are. I want you to memorize, learn, whatever. You need to know these plays. I said, yes, sir. And he goes, the other thing, you might want to do some running, because when you get here, we're going to be the best conditioned team you've ever seen. You're going to run more than you've ever run in your life, and we are going to be in better shape than anyone we play. Yes, sir. And I'm thinking, boy, this sounds good. This guy really has it. He's going to be a great leader, a great coach. And I'm thinking, okay, now he's going to tell me, hey, good to meet you. Go home and get ready. And basically he did that. But he had one other thing to say before then. You know, I reach out my hand, I say, Coach, I'm going to be ready. I'll know the plays and I'll be in great shape. And we shake hands and he goes, before you go, one more thing. I don't like the idea of athletes ever arguing with officials. And I know that's something you like to do. Don't you ever do that again, or you will be standing on the sidelines or not even a part of my team. I'll see you in August. He scared me to death. I mean, it was that shock of like, he did remember. He was able to kind of get through the conversation, and he laid out maybe a one-time warning. And I took it to heart. I'll tell you what, I did have some bad moments. The Glenwood game comes to mind, but he was on my side in that one. And another game where I was regrettably tossed out of the game, but I think he understood that one because it came about with somebody trying to kill our best player, Richard Heath, on the sidelines with a late hit. And I just wasn't going to stand for it. Anyway, Coach Pugh was a great leader, and we had really good team. We had a really good senior team, 3-5-2 our junior year, and then made the playoffs our senior year. After many years of losing contact with him, we reconnected. And I might have told you this, we talked about my first book. And Coach Pugh was exactly what you want to think about in a positive relationship with a leader, a person of leadership in your life. He would tell you things like, you really belonged on that team. You were important to that team. I was really proud of you. I was proud to coach you. Things that he would have not said to me when I was young and on his team. But now that we were both older guys and adults, he felt good telling me this. And I can tell you, the first time he ever said any of those words to me, it got me. It was such an affirmation of what I had hoped to be. It was really important to me. And I think he knew that. And I think that's why he said it. And it's one of those things when we talked a couple of videos ago about coaches, how important they are. He was really important to me. Now look, there's some of the guys on our team who probably didn't like Coach Pugh very much while he was coaching, and maybe didn't like him afterwards. He was really important to me during that time. He was the exact right personality and mentality for someone like me who just needed discipline and needed ironclad rules. And I really appreciated him. And as we, again, reconnected, I really appreciated him even more. And when he passed away, I'll tell you, it really hurt. It hurt me a lot. I missed our long conversations about the good old days, the times we spent together and all my friends and that football team. So I guess the moral of the story is sometimes things get better with age, and your reflections on things that are in the past can be a little bit better. Not all things are, but things like this certainly are for me. Hope you enjoyed this. Don't argue with umpires. Just turn around and go to the dugout. That's my only advice here. Don't argue with umpires. Go sit down. I'm not sure I'll ever follow that, but I wish I had then, and I hope I can do it from now. Until we get back together again, take care of yourselves. Hope you have a great week, and we will see you in a week or so. Bye-bye. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Chambers Academy Sports Live Classic. Today we're going to look at a game from the 1972 season. This is Chambers Academy versus Glenwood, and of course at Glenwood.